Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a king and a queen who lived in an enormous castle, and they had a son who was a prince. And one day, the prince came to them and said he had an announcement to make. And this is what he said, and I want you to repeat everything along with me. He said, "Mother and father, what I'd really, really like, is to go out into the big wide world and..." Oh, you didn't catch that last bit. We'll have to say it all again. Okay. He said, "Mother and father, what I'd really, really like, is to go out into the big wide world and make my fortune." And of course the queen heard this. She was upset to think of her son leaving, and she burst into tears. Can you cry? That's quite good. She was sadder than that. That's what it was like. But the king, he was wise, and he said, "I'm going to offer you something to take with you on your long, long journey." And can you guess what he offered? Who said a teddy bear? It wasn't a teddy bear. I'll show you. It was an apple and a block of gold. And the prince looked at the apple, and he looked at the block of gold, and he thought, this is ridiculous. If I take the block of gold, I could buy 500 apples. But he didn't say anything out loud. And so we could help him make the decision. So anybody who thinks he should take the gold, can you shout, "We want gold"? Whoa, quite a lot of people. And if you think he should take the apple, can you shout, "We want the apple"? Whoa, not very much response there at all. So I think we know which one he should take. The prince said, if you're taking the gold, put it in this jewellery box. And so he put the gold inside his little box. And then he set off on his long journey into the big wide world. And soon he came to some long grass. Everybody goes, "Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh." That's very good. And then he reached a wide stream and he had to swim across. So everybody go, "Bloop, bloop, bloop, bloop." Very good. And then climbed out the other side. And there was some marshy ground. So squish, squish, squelch, squish, squish. And then there were some nettles. Ow, 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 ow. And soon he came to a dry, dusty desert. And it got hotter and hotter. And the prince got thirstier and thirstier. And the block of gold got heavier and heavier. And he looked at the block of gold and he thought, I wish I'd picked the apple now. This is so heavy. It's useless. I might as well throw it away. So he went to throw it away, and suddenly there was the apple. He was amazed, but he ate the apple, and soon he wasn't feeling thirsty anymore. And then he had time to sit and think, and he thought, well, I'm not that old. Maybe I should seek my fortune next year. So perhaps I'll go home. So he set off back home. Through the nettles. Ow, 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 ow. And through the squelchy mud. Squelch, 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 squelch. And then over the river. Bloop, 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 bloop. And then, of course, through the long grass. Swish, 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 swish. Back to the castle. And his mother, the queen, saw him coming. And she was so pleased. She burst into tears of joy. She was happier than that. I'm filling up now myself. And she said, where have you been, son? He said, well, I went on a long journey. I saw some long... We're not doing that. We're not doing that again. But he went through the long grass. And he told them how he ended up in the dry desert. And how the block of gold had turned into the apple. And he said, I don't understand how it happened. And the king said, well, son, that was magic. And he said, well, father, I don't understand. What happened to the block of gold? And the king said, well, it was here all the time. So let's have a nice big round of applause for that clever king. And I think you should give yourselves a nice big round of applause for helping out so well with that story.